Good morning and welcome to 3H. We are here to talk to guys about their lives, about hope, hospitality, and hustle, and what that looks like in today's modern world. Today we've got Grant with us. I don't want to say I grew up with Grant. I knew Grant back in Georgia, so in high school, and yeah. So I'll say a little bit more, but welcome, Grant.
Appreciate you having me here, AJ. It's been a while, but it's good to reconnect.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like usually after high school, people just, lives change in their college, and then so it's hard to reconnect, but it's always, I think it's good to remember kind of who you were before, and where people are at.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, awesome. So let's see. Trying to remember. Like I said, we talked a little bit before, and so my high school almost seems like a blur, like I remember bits and pieces, and I remember people, but like I don't necessarily remember all the details. But I just remember, there's always a guy. If someone was laughing or smiling, it was probably Grant, and always looking for a good time, and so I always appreciated that about you.
Appreciate it. Maybe too much of a good time at times, but yeah.
That's okay. I know
Enjoy
you
life.
made it seems like you still got that same that laugh, that still that smile. So it's good to see.
Appreciate it.
So let's obviously a lot of the people listening are from all of different parts of my life. So tell us a little bit about where you're at. Kind of introduce yourself, family, career. Where just what you're doing right now.
Yeah. I'm 28, which I keep saying is I feel old, which I guess is not really that old. And my wife's older than me, so she does not like it when I say that I'm old. Yeah, I just live over here in north of Atlanta. Didn't really think I'd be back in this exact area, but this is where the Lord has us right now. So I'm working over here. I'm in logistics, which is something I just fell into like 8 years ago and still here, but it pays the bills right now. So I'm thankful for that. But I got a wife and a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, and a 4-month-old. So 2 boys and a girl. The girl's the youngest here. Yeah, life's going by quick, but loving every minute of it. We're just staying busy, that's for sure.
I can imagine with 3. I mean, I only got 2, and yeah, three seems like a lot right now, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't
can
know. I
it can
guess we'll
be
see.
it can be a lot, but I mean, I don't know. Me and my wife, I came from a big family, as you know, and then my wife, she came from a smaller family, so I think it's been a bigger adjustment for her. And at this stage, they're just very needy, and so I think it's a little harder on her right now. But yeah, it is. It's the best. I love kids. I want like a bunch. I also
I was
think like
about,
yeah. I mean, it's just yeah. I think people need to stretch themselves, and I need to stretch myself sometimes. Yeah, it seems like a lot, but I'm always like, if I look 40 years in the future, am I going to regret having this child here? Like, no,
yeah.
like just trying to look way in the future, but also be like balanced and be like, I do have to provide for them and give everybody attention. Like there's a balance here somewhere, but I think it tends to be in this day and age, like I want to err on let's have some more kids. Like they are a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Is so obviously you grew up in a large family, so you want a large family. Where's your wife standing right now? Now that you've got 3 and you got a little taste.
She thinks she says she wants to take it one at a time and just go from there. So right now, I mean, we have a 4-month-old, so we're not looking at another one here very soon. So we're just gonna work through that and just see what the Lord provides and what opens. But yeah, for right now we're just like we're adjusting. We're still kind of adjusting with the 3, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a blast. They're the best, man. Tell all my friends, y'all need to have kids. Get married and have kids.
Man, so now with 3, obviously it's a challenge already to keep up, but I've heard that, after the 3rd one, things get easier somehow. Like they start taking care of each other. That's what I hear. Do you see that happening?
Not quite. The 3-year-old. Yeah, I don't think he's taking care of anything at the moment. So I think it works when their kids are a little older. Like my brother, I'm the second oldest, but my older brother is 6 years older than me, so he was definitely able to help out. Uh, but I don't really want we don't want that big of an age gap. Like between my oldest brother and my youngest brother is 16 years, and it was like three different
I
families.
forgot that.
Yeah, it's like 3 different families growing up. Oh, yeah, we were all definitely able to help out with the youngest brother,
Yeah.
but the 3-year-old, I mean, Yeah, 3-year-olds don't understand the word gentle, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really try to give him like really work on trying to give him responsibility and let him do stuff and like work on that. But it's not to the point where he can really help out with anything. It's just my wife really just trying to corral them all, but it's good.
Do you, right now, leading kids and leading a home, like it's very different than it used to be. I mean, before, you didn't have the little, little phones, and you didn't have all the screens, and like, today it's much easier to entertain them. How are you kind of managing that? Because obviously with, I've got two, and sometimes in my head, I think, oh, it'd be really easy just to give them a phone or something like that. So with three, I can imagine you get that same feeling every now and then, like, just want to pass it along. So
Yeah,
kind of,
there's
how do you guys
def-
balance that?
there's definitely a temptation there, but I think me and my wife we're both really good. Like we really limit screen time, and screen time is like I don't know, like an old cartoon or like we'll put like my Spotify playlist on the TV and listen to music. We're very hands on trying to make sure that they are doing like things to improve their imagination and they're not just sitting in front of the screen all day and we're not letting the screen parent them. Like sometimes, well, like the 30 minutes, my wife needs something like, okay, we'll put something on. But we also monitor, like I monitor everything that we have in the house, whether it's books or TV or music, whatever. Because there's so much crap out there, so much like crappy entertainment and kids material. It's like unbelievable. So very cognizant of what my kids are taking in and what they're being influenced by. Even just things that are like subtle or subversive. Like I don't know, I don't want my kids watching some fast paced animation or just that's got like a million different I don't know what the word is clicks a minute or just like really
Yeah.
yeah I don't
Well,
know.
just like, they've got shows. One of them is Trash Truck. It's like I don't know if you've heard of that one. If you haven't, I bet your kids would love it. But
I
it's
haven't.
like, no, check it out. Because, like, Emily and I, we try to kind of manage that, not wanting to give them, obviously, things like SpongeBob and things that are just like, they're loud, obnoxious,
Right.
sometimes crude, lots of flash, all that. Versus like a show like this, the colors are slightly muted, calmer, there's a story there, it's not just trying to get people to, or get the kids to be mesmerized kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think JC liked we were on Canada Plus. They had Swiss Family Robinson from like the '80s. They animated like he loved that for a while. I've had him watch some like old like Daniel Boone, which is not animated, but I think he's a little young for that. Avery was
Yeah,
like, yeah, might be a little young.
yeah,
They're fighting Indians and stuff, and I'm like, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll give it a little
yeah.
longer. But it's like I don't know. I'm kind of an old soul, so all the old stuff. It's like I also don't think that kids necessarily need to have like kids stuff. Like some of the stuff's good, but it's like they don't have to listen to kids music and crappy pop music that just hurts your eardrums. Like no, they can just go listen to bluegrass. Put them some bluegrass for them. They love it. Like it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we've got three Spotify playlists for him. We've got a calm playlist, a worship playlist, and just a fun playlist. So like, for whatever was going on. So that is kind of fun because then, we're able to still have fun with the music. Like he's got a new song it's I don't know. It's just fun, almost like a rave kind of song. So it's like 2 minutes long. It's like super short, but he loves it. He's jumping up and down and having a great time. But then we'll play like his calm or his worship one on his way to school, and then on the way home we'll just hear him in the back. The music's not playing, and he'll be singing one of the songs, like the Holy Forever. I forget. I know how it goes, but I'm not going to sing it right now.
No,
Anyway, but he's in the back just singing the chorus. So it's almost a reminder, like that stuff is important. It may not, you may not always want to play something that is kid friendly, but he's still listening, he's still paying
yeah,
attention.
100%. Yeah, Jason's one of his favorite songs right now is "If You're Gonna Play in Texas, You Gotta Have a Fill in the Band" by Alabama. Like he loves that song, and he also loves like there's a bunch of worship songs he likes, like Antioch 277, which is like an old Sacred Harp song. And
Okay.
it's awesome. And then the boy just saying, Brendan, he likes a lot and he'll just be singing them. He loves this. He sings all the time. He's got this little toy guitar. He's like me. He's completely tone deaf, can't carry a tune, but loves to sing. He's a lot like me in that. But it's cool to hear.
There's one of our pastors from one of the churches we went to. he made a comment. Now, the church we were going to at the time, it was a bigger church. They were doing the full show, which is not our favorite, but we happened to find a church where the preaching was on par, fit our what we were looking for, and um, but what he said was, when you get to heaven, do you think it's going to be quiet, or do you think it's going to be loud? And thinking about it, it's like, I think, people are going to be singing. It's going to be loud. People are going to be playing instruments. It's going to be loud. Maybe some, fantastical instrument we've never seen before, but it's going to be loud because people are excited and they're worshiping, and it's just going to be incredible sound. I don't imagine everybody just like praising in that way, right? I'm sure some people will, but he had made that comment. I think just like, yeah, well, but why should we wait? When we're praising, it doesn't matter if you happen to be a little tone deaf. It doesn't matter, right? That's not the point. We're not there to listen to ourselves or listen to the person next to us. We're there to. So I thought that was a good comment, a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing about congregational singing is you kind of blend in. Everybody just blends together, and it's nice. I go to a every third Tuesday of the month. We do like a psalm sing in downtown Canton with some guys.
Okay.
It's like my favorite. It's like one of my favorite things of the month. It's so fun. We just go there, drink beer, and sing psalms in public. It's and hymns. It's awesome. And it's just a bunch of guys. Nobody can really sing, but we give it our best, and we're loud, and you know, it's cool.
Okay, so well, let me pause and hop in right there. I don't hear that a whole lot in the same sentence, that we went out, we sang songs and praise in public while drinking beer.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
One of my buddies, Riley, him and his a couple guys from his church were like, "Hey, we want to go worship God in public, and we got to drink beer, and we're just going to go have a good time and enjoy some good brew and praise God and do it in public, and it maybe offer opportunities for people to come up and we can evangelize them, and even if not, we're just praising God in the public square, which is something I think that's lacking. That's just a cool thing. I don't know. It kind of there's like a brotherhood aspect to it, like with your boys, and we're all praising God together, and
Mm-hmm.
we get in there time to chat and talk and challenge each other. So it's very cool. That's very cool. I think he got that. I think he actually got the idea from the Moscow guys. I think they do that a bunch, and it's starting to, I guess, become more popular. But yeah, it's fun. I love it. I encourage everybody to go do it. Get a bunch of guys together and just go sing some psalms in the little gazebo
Yeah.
in Town Square. Like, why not?
Has anybody questioned the combination? Like, why not just go and just sing? Like, why does it have to be together?
Not really. I'm sure. I'm sure people. I mean, it's it's also the Baptist here, so it's like, yeah, I'm sure somebody's somewhere, but nobody's really like. Most of those guys actually are Presbyterians,
Oh, okay.
and so it lines up. I'm like
Yeah.
borderline Presbyterian at this point, but it's. But there's no. We haven't had anybody come up. We have had some Mormons come up. They didn't partake in the drinking, but
Well,
it was cool to
yeah.
have them come up, and they like invite us to the Mormon Tabernacle to sing
Okay.
too. You're like,
Yeah. Thank you.
exactly. But it's been cool. We get like cheers. People are like honking at us. It's fun. I haven't had anybody like yell at us yet, which is
All
surprising,
right.
but I guess a good thing.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it does help. I think, it's still Bible Belt. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, they may not be daily followers, but they're like, oh, yeah, I'm Christian. And so, may not really.
Yeah, there's still the cultural undertones, as
Yeah.
much as that's being kind of brought away, but it's still there in a lot of these places. So that's cool and that's good. And maybe it encourages people like, hey, I don't need to be shy about my faith, and maybe I don't know, just cause them to think about it more. It's just I don't know. I'm not going to question it, but it's cool. I don't think there's anything bad that's going to come from people singing psalms in public.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I've never heard of it before. I wish you, in your group of guys, with some good luck right there. The guys that you have there, it's not really something that I had originally planned, but having a brotherhood of guys, that's, I think it's more, maybe, I don't want to say more important now than it has been before, but just as important as it's ever been to have a group of guys like that. Are these all guys that you went to school with, or you go to church with, or how did you come about this group?
Yeah, I knew two of the guys there I went to school with, and then just kind of like secondary relationships and people I've met along the way here. And then it's just a lot of like-minded people. We got like a signal chat too going. And so I think it's just a lot. I think there's a lot of people who are just looking for some sense of community, even in the Christian community and church, just looking for people to connect with. Like, I don't know, people don't talk to their neighbors anymore and everybody's so spread out. I don't know. I actually don't really know how it came about, but I think it's good. And I got on days kind of I got roped in with a guy from high school, and then just started meeting people and started becoming friends and talking to them more. So that's been cool. But I still have my a lot of my friends who I grew up here with, and then I've been in a Bible study with 6 dudes, and we've been doing it for like 6 years now. I think 5 years, 5 years now since I've been back to Morgan.
Okay.
We've been doing that. We meet every other Thursday, and that's been like huge for me. Just having that consistency. It's funny, we go to different churches, but it's still like it offers really good conversations. We just go through, pick a book of the Bible, we'll just go through chapter by chapter, verse by verse, just go through. Somebody will lead, ask questions, about discussions, accountability, prayer. Like, yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a really good thing for me. So also encourage everybody out there, if you don't have that, start one or get with your church. Do something. I think men need to live life together and challenge each other and meet up. Like, we're not made to be alone and solitary, and
Yeah.
we need help sometimes. Yeah,
Did
needs people to call us out.
when you were in Oregon, did you have that, or were you able to find that?
I had not really. I had like a couple friends. One really good friend, Joseph. He's still out there. I just had like one friend out there, really though. Just had one friend out there, pretty much. Him and his family basically took me in. Like, they were. It was great having them. But I also wasn't, when I was out there too. I wasn't walking very close to the Lord at that time. That probably had something to do with it too.
Was that is that something that you, before you left to go to Oregon, you were kind of already not where maybe you thought you should be, and then when you got to Oregon, it made it worse, or when you got to Oregon, that's when it kind of.
No, probably mm, maybe a little bit before, and then I always knew better, but I just decided that I don't know. I was just gonna ride the fence and live in some sin, and I don't know, have fun. I guess I don't know, like just be dumb. I always knew better,
Yeah.
so it's like, and I look back now, I'm like, what an idiot! Like, I knew, like, it's one thing to do something and like not know and like ignorance, but it's another thing to do something and like no, you shouldn't be doing it, and then just like, or just in the back of your mind, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't, and then just being like, so. But luckily, it's grace and been forgiven. But yeah, I think at the time it was just, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe a little bit before, and then when I got there, it was just kept doing the same thing,
So
just slowly. 2 years passed, and you look back, and you're like, what have we been doing for 2 years?
yeah. So was it that, were you already kind of on the way back when you moved back,
Yeah,
or it was?
yeah, yeah. Basically, right, pretty much. Long story short, a couple of weeks before I met my wife, and I was it was actually a Sunday morning. I was going to go to church, and I stopped by the fly shop on the way, and then saw some. Was in there talking like normal fly shop there all the time. Saw some 2 dudes there from Alabama. I heard them talking. I was like, "Where are y'all from?" They're like, "We're from Alabama." I was like, "Beautiful! Finally, some Southern brethren here." Anyways, and so we got to talking. They basically invited me to go fishing that morning. I was like, "All right, I'll go fishing." But we ended up going fishing, and they ended up being believers. And I don't know, we had a cool conversation. They really, I don't know, we just talked about life and God and had an incredible day fishing. But something about that conversation just sparked me like, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, I know better, and it's just time to stop sitting on the fence and just be serious. Like, figure out like what I believe, why I believe it, and live obediently. And then pretty much from then on, and then I was like in, what was that, April, May, or no, it was like May, probably May of that year. And I moved back in like October, so it was before I moved back to Georgia. That started.
Hmm. Was there anything in particular? Because you said you kind of had started having a feeling that, to stop riding the fence. Was there anything in particular that helped you get back? Was it somebody, a verse, one, or just?
I just something clicked to me that was like, I need to be reading my Bible more. I need to stop sinning, and I need to just be obedient. Like, I know the things to do. So I'm just gonna go in here and like I think I know things, but in reality, I didn't know like much. I thought I knew what I believed, why I believed it, or I knew doctrine. But it's like in reality, I'd been stagnant for years, and so it was just like, so I just started reading the Bible and studying more, and just fell in love with God all the more, and just got really serious and started being obedient. Yeah, it was just the thing. Something, it was interesting too, because the one thing I think that made it click when I was talking to those guys is we were just talking to River, and I think I can't remember if they said, I I think I said, like, "Are y'all believers?" Like, we were like hiking down the fishing trail, and they were like, "Yeah," and like, "You are?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "It's funny. We were in the car ride over here talking about you. And we're like, I bet he's a believer." I was like, "I don't know. That's pretty cool." And I'm like, "It's cool, but also like, well, been sinning. Like, I need to." Yeah, it was kind of like a gut check. Like,
Yeah.
all right, if I'm a believer, like, I got to act like one. Jesus says, "You love me, you'll make commitments." Like, yeah, like it's simple. So it was just, that wasn't even anything profound. It was just like, I don't
Yeah.
know, just like a gut check that God provided.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool how he does that, but I think it's, I don't know. I'm sure you're not the only one, obviously, that's been in the same boat. I feel like I don't know, kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say that there have been any particular moments in which I felt like I was one way or another, sitting on the fence, but like I've definitely noticed that there are moments when I just seem to be maybe more engaged and more, I don't know, maybe more willing to be available. I think that's been the biggest challenge for me within the pretty much since I started this. I would say, uh, the whole point is to talk to guys, to hear from them, to hopefully provide some insight for other guys who are in similar boat. All the stuff that I'm promoting, that means I also have to be promoting them on my own through how I live, whether or not the people that see me really see what I do on a daily basis. I mean, there's still people I work with that may see it. There's still people at church that may see it, and it doesn't really matter. But if I want the same result from other people and I want them to be better, then what am I doing on my own end? So that's been a big a bigger. And what's crazy is I've probably had more conversations with coworkers, people at church, that were more than just hey, how's it going, surface level conversation, than I've probably had in the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. And it's just amazing what a little I'm available to talk to people, provide the opportunity, and then just give me the wisdom and the words.
Yeah, and having that integrity, like you're saying, that's all it is.
Just yeah, just crazy. I happened to go to a Bible study. I think I mentioned this Bible study already, but I went to this Bible study at the new church that we're going to, and it's called Titus 10 Men, or Titus 10 Men, something like that. And it talks about um, the men in the church, and just how if you're a leader in the church and you're a man, you're already held to a higher standard. I'm not saying I'm a leader in the church, but I'm still a leader and I'm still a guy within the church. So, and now I'm putting myself in front of people. So, yeah, I may not be in the church, but I'm still hoping to, I don't know, to be available. And I don't know where I was going with that. Kind of lost my thought. But the point, I think, being just Titus 10 Men. The only thing that it says for young men to learn is discipline, which is crazy to me that they had a whole chapter and it talked about older men, older women, young women, and they each had like 2, 3, 4 sentences, and then it got to young men. It's like, be disciplined.
Yeah,
It's like, that's it.
yeah, it's the key. Yeah, it is the key. Yeah, it's in every aspect of life. Discipline. Yeah, you got to control your passions and control your desires. Like, put off pleasure. And it's like, that's so prevalent in culture. Culture just says, like, yeah, it's just very hedonistic. Like, just pursue pleasure at all costs and forget all responsibility. And it's like, no, you got to be disciplined and embrace responsibility and embrace pain. And like, it's just part of life. You got to deal with it, figure it out, and be disciplined, like you said. So it's,
Do you feel, obviously, you talked about going fishing quite a bit. So that whole hunting, fishing side of things, I remember going fishing. I remember I went hunting twice, and it was the most boring thing that I've ever done.
did you go hunting in Pennsylvania or in Georgia?
I think they were actually both in Pennsylvania.
That's the
Yeah.
old. That's what it was, like the old, like, deer camp. You go to the north, North Woods, the big orange jumpsuits, like your dad's friend or something like that, or how'd that go?
Yeah, it was my friend Cole and his dad, and they would go hunting. So I think we went one time, maybe I went 3 times. Anyway, one time was duck hunting, and then
Oh yeah, it's cool.
yeah, it is so cold. I was like, this is a terrible experience. Why do people do this? And then the second time was It was either turkey or deer combination. I can't remember. But in both occasions, didn't see anything. And the duck one was super cold and
Yeah.
are bundled up and hand warmers and still wasn't warm enough. And
Yep.
man,
Part of the fun bit.
and you can't even talk, at least like golf, I don't really care for golf as a game, but at least I can hang out with people. I'm in outdoors in the sun and I can have a cold drink, lemonade, whatever. But you can talk and have a good time. But hunting, you can't talk. You can't do anything. You're literally just sitting there.
Sometimes
Anyway,
duck hunting be a little more stressful, but yeah, deer hunting definitely you gotta be quiet. That's what the camp you go in camp atmosphere. That's fun. I just forgot that you're from Pennsylvania again. But yeah, my dad. I mean, his grandparents lived in Pennsylvania. They used to go up every year. Man, it's like it's like classic Pennsylvania, like hunting, like back in the day. Just go up to deer camp and hunt the rifle season. Yeah, he's talked about it all the time. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of cool hunting history in Pennsylvania, and you'll have like up there. They had a flintlock season, which I really want to go try one day. I think that'd be fun.
what's that?
Like a Hawken rifle or like an old like the Mountain Men rifles. They're black
I
powder,
like that.
the black powder only
Oh,
season, and so it's like traditional only. It's like typically a late season hunt, and that'd be really fun. I like that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, no, but yeah, it's turkey season right now, so I've been like every Saturday been out right now trying to kill a bird.
well, talking about discipline and the pain and suffering, and do you feel like that, or going hunting as much as you do, is that how you feel when you're going through it, or does it not feel like pain and suffering and
Well, I mean, there's like a pain aspect to it, especially like hunting the mountains up here, and then like there's a lot of heartbreak that happens. And my wife will tell you like it's like I gotta love it because I go a lot and don't kill a lot, but I love it, and it's been very busy here. Like there's been a lot of pressure. Like on opening day, I went to like 6 different spots before I could find a spot that didn't have a truck on national forest, which is wild. So it's getting a lot of pressure. But yeah, there is like it's just like there is a pain and discipline aspect of it, and it's like yeah, you might not be successful. And it's not like the old days. It's not like it's like not like I'm going to starve if I don't kill something. Like that was real, like determination and patience, and like there's consequences for that. But for me, the consequences are like blisters and embarrassment. And
yeah.
so, but I love it. There's a lot. I think there's a lot to be gained from it. I don't think everybody like needs to go hunting or should go hunting. There's already too many
Do,
people in the woods, anyways. But it is. I think maybe definitely fishing, and people should probably go out and experience it at some point. But it is cool to harvest your own food and like know where your food comes from, and then satisfaction you get from that. And then being out in nature itself is just I don't know, it calms you down and puts things in perspective. You get to see God's creation and enjoy it. Like it's a beautiful grace and blessing. And yeah, it puts things in perspective, and it just like makes you slow down and focus on one thing. You're out there, you're not going to be checking emails, and you're not thinking about it. You're just there, just enjoying it, and just you're focused on one thing. And that's cool. We don't get that much these days. It feels like it's very fast paced life. Like you get out there and just can take a breath and relax and just focus on one thing. Just take a
yeah.
hike around the woods. Usually, I'm just hiking around the woods with a gun. That's all I'm doing.
Man, I think that I even have a book right now, which, I started reading it and I was like, okay, I do most of these things luckily already. But it was talking about how parents, or mainly about dads, how they get their kids back outside, right? Because there's so many things now that draw them inside. It's cooler, especially in Texas. It gets super hot. Do you think that, I mean, it sounds like you do see the value in being outside, and even for kids, do you notice a difference maybe between people or kids that aren't outside as much, or that don't go, whether it's hunting or fishing, or just maybe they don't play sports, maybe they just stay inside and play video games, or do you think there's some kind of a disconnect in those people or families?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't. All like my like second or my like, little cousins, I love them. Like just play video games. I don't know. It just seems like a completely foreign, miserable world to me. Just be inside all the time. Like my kids, I mean, they're still young, but like they love going outside. All they want to do is go outside, and all Jason wants to do like is to go out with me and do things, which is really cool. And it's like he's starting to get to the age now where he can kind of do stuff. Like I took him squirrel hunting with me this year. And he loved that. We just walked around the woods. We actually shot a squirrel, and he loved that. He had a lot of fun with that, and just carried it all the way back. but it's like just understanding, like when I go out with him, like, okay, there's a different expectation here. Like I'm not, this isn't for me. I'm probably not going to shoot anything or catch anything, but that's not the point. It's just to get him out there, get him used to nature and enjoy it. Like one of my big things is I want my kids to be like woodsmen and be very comfortable in the outdoors and comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think the outdoors is a good avenue for that to teach them, you're going to be uncomfortable. Like that's okay. Figure out a way through that. And I think, I don't know, there's a lot of lessons that can be learned. And I think selfishly, I love the outdoors, love hunting, fishing. I want to do that with my kids, and I want them to carry on that tradition and be able to provide for the family, even though it's providing for the family, even though they don't really whatever.
Yeah, they don't
Anyways,
have to, but
yeah, I want that for them. I want them to be like the old days, like be able to go out and just go let them out. And they can go run around the yard, and maybe a couple years a kid can run around with a 22, go shoot some squirrels or just whatever. Just go explore, build forts. That's what I did when I was a kid. My brothers built forts, camp, like explore the creek. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's, I don't know if I put my finger on it, but I think there's a lot of value in that. I think creativity and problem solving, and I don't know, being connected to nature. I think it's a good thing. So that's like the dream. Is that like the dream would be like have a big piece of land, farm, and animals, and
mhm. do the
plenty of
whole
woods around for it.
do the whole homestead, with the churning the butter and making sourdough.
Yeah, some of it. My wife does. She does make some good sourdough. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that. Yeah, but also a lot of that stuff is like it's expensive. It's not the whole like homestead life. It's all very expensive. Everything is these days. But there's a lot of value in it, I think.
Do you
So, but it's
think
fun.
you
Like,
can? Go ahead.
no, well, I was just saying, but like before, like it's like it's go back to the original point, like doing things with my kids, like took Jace out fishing on Saturday. It's like I think I cast it twice. And just basically was getting hooks out of myself or untangling his line or casting for him. But he had like the best time. We caught a bunch of little brim. I was like, we was just a little pond, like neighborhood pond thing. He kept wanting to like bring him home. He's like, I want to bring him home for mommy for supper. And I was like, I love this attitude, but I
Yeah.
don't know if he want to eat these fish. And finally, I got him to finally talked me into bringing one home, one little brim. And he was just like, he had a ball, carried it all the way back to the house. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, just try to get my kids outside and get them to do things with me. And I took like talking about golf earlier. I took Jace golfing a couple weeks ago. It was the same thing. It's like, all right, I'm not going to come here and try to break my personal record and go play 9 holes. I got him a little golf
Mhm.
club. He just, rode around the golf cart with dad and then hit some balls, go run out, chase him in the woods. Like, I don't know. He got his little dump trucks, was digging in the sand traps, which worked out great because I was in the sand traps a lot. So, yeah, had fun. But yeah, just trying to get my kids and do things with them. But also, like, selfishly, again, like, I got to go do these things that I like to do, but I also get to do with my kids. So it's a win win.
Yeah. Do you think? Because I know you played some sports, right? You played basketball, right?
Basketball,
And
baseball, and football.
yeah. Do you think that as your kids get older, do you think that being outdoors and fishing, hunting, do you think one is maybe is better, or do you think what as they get older, what's your plan?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of great things in team sports. So I want my kids to be athletic and be able to like throw and catch and shoot a basketball and have like just be athletic. I think that's important too in life. Um, I'm not one of these like sports fanatics or travel ball people. Like you did soccer forever, like very intense, like traveling soccer.
Hmm.
And I just personally have like no desire to do that or go through that, spend all that money. No,
Hmm.
we can. I mean, we grew up playing just like played baseball in the spring and basketball or whatever in the winter. Like just having seasons and having breaks and not getting kids burnt out and just going having fun. Go play at the little rec league. Like, doesn't need to be so serious. And you don't really. I mean, if they were going to go play like pro or something like that, like, you know, it's all most of that's just natural ability, and you'll get where you need to go. Like put in work, and eventually you get to like maybe high school and later we can start talking about that. But all this 10U travel ball is just like no desire for that. Like, but that's the decision I made. Like in high school too, it's like I played football one year, quit because I wanted to hunt and fish more. I played basketball all 4 years. Played baseball in like eighth, ninth grade, then quit because I wanted to hunt more and fish more and hang out with my buddies. So I mean, I look back, I'm like, yeah, maybe it'd been fun to play another year, but also met some great memories, and that's really what I wanted to do. So it's kind of up to the kids, I guess. But there's also
Hmm.
going to be a point where I'm like, I'm not taking, our family's not going to revolve around 10 different sports, and there's got to be a balance here. We're
Hmm.
not going to play on Sundays here. Like, it's just, so we have to make
Yes,
sacrifices.
especially if you end up having as big a family as maybe you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah. I know my cousin has 6 kids, and he's like, the older ones, they get like, you pick one sport for the year, and it's not going to be travel. It's going to be, one. Like, we just can't physically take everybody everywhere. Like, just got to do what you got to do. But like I said, if the kids are good enough, they want to go play somewhere. Like, I have no interest in like college. They want to go play in college if there's a college at that point, or if they decide to go to college, which I don't know, probably crazy. But anyways, they decide to do that. They can work at it in high school and get better. But
Sorry.
pollen's rough. I don't know if there's pollen down. Is there pollen in Texas?
Yeah, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. And yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, there's been days I come out and my car's just yellow. Uh, Not hasn't been that way in a little while, but I don't know. Do you feel like as your kids get older, I guess right now it seems like the way that you are bringing them up, you won't have this issue. But as they get like right now, do you feel like, I don't know, like hunting and fishing, you wake up super early. So even when you come back, like you can come back before, if I remember right, like you can still come back early in the day to where it doesn't feel like you've been gone out versus
Uh,
like golf, like you go out, you're gone 3 4 hours in the day, and you're not back till like afternoon or something like that. So I guess that's a good part about fishing and all that, those
yeah,
activities.
exactly. Like, yeah, by hunting, it's like I really just hunt in the mornings, especially with turkeys. It's not really fun. I don't think hunting in the evenings, but yeah, I mean, wake up at 4 a.m. and then go out and hunt back by like lunches. So, but I got a great wife, and she lets me, not lets me, but she's just like knows that like I love to do this stuff, and she's, we just make sure that everything's taken care of at the house, and go out and do it and come back and spend the rest of the weekend with the kids. And, as they get older, they come do those things with me. Like, it's a balance. And it's like, I'm not gonna go every weekend. Like, there's something that needs to be done. Like, all right, do it. Like, this part is just understand like life is not about me and what I want to do. I got responsibility, I have a wife and kids. Like, there's things to do here. So it's just like knowing that I can't go do all the fun things I want to do, but that's okay. That's a good thing. Like, just the season of life we're in. But like golf, yeah, it's like I like never like I'll go play. I'm in like a little that same Bible study. Those guys were in like a little golf league. We play like once a month and just started back up again. And I almost didn't do it this year, but I kind of got the bug again. And I live right next to a driving range, so
uh,
I'm going out a lot hitting. And I just like I'm tired of sucking. I just want to be like halfway decent. So,
yeah,
but we only have to play 9 holes, so it's like that's 2 hours. So I can squeeze that in somewhere
yeah, it's
once a
not too
month.
bad.
And I'm competitive still, so I want to I want to beat these people. It gets my competitiveness going, which is fun.
Yeah, a little competitive is good.
Yeah, definitely. You need that.
Is so your mom or your sorry your wife right now, she is um I don't want to say just a stay at home mom, but she's not doing anything part time, right?
No.
She's just taking care of kids. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a full time job, and that's the best job, and made to do, and she loves it, and yeah, she does a great job. But yeah, it is. By the time I come home, it's nice. I mean, I come home every night, 5:30, we eat dinner, play with the kids for what an hour and a half,
Yeah,
take them
hour
a
and a
bath,
half.
go to
Yeah,
bed. Like, yeah, it's great. But by the time I come home, and she's like, it's the witching hour, and they're crazy. She's like, thank God, just at this age. But yeah, she's doing that, and you know, just we're all just plodding along here. But it's going by like I was telling you before. Like, it's going by really quick. Like, my dad was not lying growing up. Like, it really does go by quick. They just are growing like crazy and changing every day. That's why I like keep saying like I'm always trying to put things in perspective. Like, I only have them for 18 years. Like, I got what 15 left with Jace, and it's like then he's going into the world. It's like this is such a short. It's just a short, it feels crazy, but it's just such a short season. This baby stage, toddler stage, it's all so short. So just really trying to enjoy it, and then prepare them for the future. And I'm trying to think like to my wife. I'm trying to think, what's that now, but also 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50, 500 years in the future. What are we doing now to leave an inheritance for our kids and to build future. And like the best things are like we're all like right now, like work we're doing now is like blessing my future grandkids one day or future generations. So just trying to keep things perspective, like trying to get stressed out too much or not or get like complacent. Like no, like we're doing like good work, the best work.
Yeah.
And I got on that topic, but yeah.
But I agree. I saw something today. It was two actresses. I think one was from she was in The Office and in Parks and Rec, and then the other one was like the main character in Parks and Rec. And they were talking about how she was tired of everyone saying, you know, to be better, and she was tired about everyone saying like, oh, you gotta read, you gotta listen to quotes, you gotta do all this stuff just to be better, and she was tired of it. And in my head I'm thinking, that's the point. That's why, we're supposed to be here, we're supposed to get better. Why would you be okay with where you're at? I think
100%.
and maybe there's more to the interview, maybe they expounded on it, I don't know, but the clip that they selected to show, I was just very surprised, and especially if, I don't know, that's coming from two female actresses both pushing this out, and it's not a great thing for, I guess, for women to see. I mean, why? So in the same way, I guess the whole point to that was, I think there is a growing, I don't know, I know there's a need, but almost seems like younger men are starting to realize that they're not supposed to be passive. They're like, they don't know, they don't have a lot of great influences. There's some well-known guys that I think are doing well, and people like Jordan Peterson. There's a couple podcasts out there that are looking at men's health, but they may not always have that Christian backbone to it, so they may be looking outside of religion to fill that void. So, I think it's great, that idea of, you want to obviously be better for your kids so that they can continue to grow and be better. So instilling in that now, not the passiveness to just say, okay, yeah, you're good just the way you are. You know, your son's not going to be a good fisherman or a good golfer if he doesn't go fishing or practice golf. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, but you're instilling that now by practicing golf, whether or not you really think of it like that way. Your kids will see it. Dad's going to practice golf so he can get better at golf.
Yeah.
Dad's going out with these guys to grow closer in friendship with them and grow closer to God. Like, they're going to see those things, whether or not you really talk about them or not. It's just, I
Yeah.
don't
And
know.
kids and they are sponges, man. They are picking up.
Yeah.
That was what like the big wake up calls me. Is like my kids started imitating me. I was like, I gotta be a piece of Q's. Like it's wild how much like it's like you can just tell they just want to be just like their daddy. And it's like the best thing in the world, but it's also like,
Mm-hmm.
you just gotta be like, you just gotta step up. Like you gotta continue to grow and be the best man possible for these kids. Like be a good example. Because like this is what they're gonna see and what they're gonna try to emulate. It's like it's everything. So yeah, it's wild to think about. There's a lot of responsibility. And
Yeah.
I think men. I was listening to podcasts the other day. I forget where they were saying like men thrive under responsibility. Like it's good for us to have that.
And that whole responsibility, it's like, where's that responsibility coming to or coming from too? Because I think there are some guys that they're finding, either I have a job, so I'm responsible for something, but maybe they're not the boss. Maybe they're just a line employee. Maybe they just started their career and don't feel like, well, what's the point? I'm not the boss. But that mentality for them is hopefully, the mentality that I've tried to have over the years is, whatever I was in control of, that's what I was responsible for. So I'm going to do the best I can with, if I'm just responsible for, keeping the floors clean in the market, then I'm going to keep the floors clean in our little market. And but I don't think, I've got people that come through that work at the hotel that don't take responsibility for little things. Like, it's in your area, like, just do it. You're not doing anything right now. Like, but
Yeah, but
But yeah.
there's a million. There's like leadership books and like or like a dime a dozen. And I
Hmm.
really ignore a lot of them. But their Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership, was really good. I thought I read it years ago. To say, yeah, just take ownership for. Well, he had two: extreme ownership and then dichotomy leadership. Read about those. But yeah, just like take responsibility. Like, it's not your fault. Whatever. Take responsibility and get it done. That to like take you a long way.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, right now, the job that you have is not, you never thought you'd end up doing this, right? I mean, that wasn't but you're doing it. And, my guess is you're doing it the best you can, right? Because that's,
Still there. So I guess so. Well, but yeah, I'm dimmed in, yeah, best I can. But yeah, they like me enough to keep me. I guess so that's good because I'm doing a good enough job.
the people that you work with, is it a Christian company?
I basically work on a fraternity. Sometimes what it feels like. Sometimes at least it's a lot. It's a lot of young men.
Okay.
I
So a
think
great,
there's like I think I'm one of like 6 or 7 that are married, and I think I'm only like 2 people have kids. 3 people have kids right now.
wow.
Yeah, I'm like the
Okay.
dad, and yeah, so I'm like all the time. I'm like, what are y'all doing with your life? How are y'all? I'm like in a totally different world than y'all are right now.
Yeah.
Area of life and like the things they talk about, like that just I feel like I'm talking to high schoolers sometimes. Like, what are we talking about? What is this language you're using? This slang?
Oh, yeah. No, thank
But it's I mean it's energetic. It's an energetic work environment. There's definitely like opportunity for ministry there, and they know I'm the Christian guy. So there's been some opportunities for some good conversation for sure in the past. And I never honestly need to do a better job. But making having more direct conversation, just asking people more pointed questions. But yeah, it's definitely a mission field. But yeah, it's a very young work environment. Everybody's like in their 20s.
it sounds like a perfect environment for you to share this podcast with
Yeah,
and
exactly. You're right.
just listen. You want to hear
This
me
comes out.
talk? Here you
I'll post
go.
it. They'll all see it on Facebook. I'll tell them about it. I'll tell them tomorrow.
Nice.
They'll check it out.
But I think it's great though because I know some people, especially now, they work from home now, right? A lot of companies are working from home, so your interactions are even more limited maybe than they happened before. So it's I think it's really important for those that still are working, like yourself, that have opportunities like that to really be open to it. Again, something that I don't think I had or was doing, and I think for me, I was Hyatt is not a Christian company by any means. It's very much a worldly company. Now, they do have some great values. Their whole motto is we care for others so they can be their best, which, that is a great mentality. Of course, you could attach that to a church and it sounds like a great church motto. Like we care for others so they can be the best, maybe just add in there like a, little part before or after about God. And there you go. There's your church slogan. But, they're very much LGBTQ, all the rights, diversity. And so it's a bit of a struggle sometimes. And the whole inclusivity. So about, religions and can't talk about your religion because that could be seen as, discrimination and
Yes.
so I was always nervous or scared. I was like, okay, well, I have this position now. I'll do my best to showcase what a Christian looks like and be open if people come to me and ask questions. But I'm not going to seek it out. I'm not going to, if I feel like maybe I should say something, I'm not going to because I don't want to get in trouble. Um, so now I'm, yeah, definitely more open than I've ever been. And like I said before, it's just, I've had more conversations than I've had since I've started working.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel lucky too. It's still a pretty small office, and like we're owned by a large company, but everybody in the office is everybody's chill. Like I would be like in a very corporate setting. Like it's not very corporate, like the setting of the office, but I just know I'd be like an HR nightmare in like an actual corporate office. Like yeah, that would not be ideal. But yeah, so I'm blessed in that sense. And like when I started this company, it was like there's like 40 employees, and now we've got like 300. Not in our office only, but our office has grown a lot. But yeah, so I've seen it grow. I've been in a couple businesses where it starts small and starts to get bigger. There's always things that change and dynamics change, but I do like smaller companies like that. There's a little less than that sometimes. I feel like
Yeah. Luckily, all of the hotels that I've worked for, except for one, was larger, but most of them, the actual hotel was, less than 100 employees. So that part was nice. You know, we didn't have corporate there every day, but you still had HR still doing their job, and it was always just that back of my head thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had some great opportunities at this hotel, and um, you know, some conversations that I didn't have while I was working at a hotel. At the hotel, I was able to have after I left the hotel. Just opportunities came up. Um, yeah, it's been a blessing for sure. Is there, I don't know, have you found like an easy conversation starter? I guess for you know if you're trying to veer conversation, you know, is there anything that you've been able to use to kind of like get into a conversation about Christ or
The
God?
easiest
Or
thing I found is just being like, one, just ask a question like, "Hey, so what did your pastor talk about in church this Sunday?" Like, even knowing them, a lot of them don't go to church, and it's like, but one, frame the question from like, "Oh, this is the normal thing to do is to go to church and listen to the pastor." Just even that, so you frame the question that way, and then she immediately like they say no, like, "Oh, okay, why not? What have you been dealing
okay,
with, or why aren't you going to church?" And then you start
yeah,
the conversation that way. Or that's when I've had the conversations. That's what I've done. It's just kind of blunt. I'm like, I don't know how to do a soft work around here. Like, it's gonna get
yeah,
just right to the point. But yeah, but then I've had a couple of people talk before after hours and had some conversations about like church and life. And one guy talked to me, was like saying like he wanted to be like one of the guys said he wanted to like be like me, like have a wife and kids, and he's like I know you're involved in your church, and he's like that's really cool. I wish I had that. So that was able to lead us cool conversation. But I was literally just talking about Bible study the other day. Like, man, I just need to like make a plan, like once a week at least, like start having conversations with different people who have relationships now. It's just more direct conversations and just being more outspoken. People always used to say like, evangelize, spread the gospel, but use words, if necessary. And like I always say that it's like, no, I need to use words here. I need to be that people know, but like I just need to start having more conversations.
I think that a following by example or being an example only you know it'll take you so far. It'll give you the opportunity to have the conversation. That example alone won't do it.
Right. And what does Paul say? How do people hear the gospel? Or how do people receive the gospel? By someone preaching it. How do they preach? They're sent. Yeah, R and R and R. It's like you gotta present it. You gotta have conversations. This is what it is. And I'm the big guy too, so it's like, what are they gonna do? I've had this conversation. Like what?
Can't do anything.
Train. It's like HR. Like I don't care. Like whatever. And I don't think anybody's gonna really take it that bad. And they all know my. We all just talk about that. We all know my opinions.
Yeah.
A litany of issues. There's no big surprises.
So, what is next for you, family, job? Do you have any projects, anything, a particular hobby, something you're working on, or yeah, what's next for you?
Geez, what is next? I don't know. I guess just well, one big thing working on trying to buy a house at some point. Love to own my own home one day. We're renting right now. Very lucky to live where live right now. Like Lord has blessed us, provided greatly for us, but would love to have my own home one day. And so trying to figure that out, trying to figure out where we want to live and save up enough money. Like it's just me, like single income, and it's very hard these days to do that. And it's like I'm at if you told me what I'm making now, like in high school, I'd have been like, bro, I'm gonna have both. I'm gonna be living high on the hog. I'm gonna be,
Oh yeah.
and it's like, no, we are just scraping by, and it's like just trusting the Lord's providence that He's gonna provide, and that it'll work out. Like Lord has provided so much already. So trying to be wise with what I do have, and then trying to plan and save for the future. Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like own a home, love them some land one day, try to figure out where I want to live. Like I don't really want to live in the suburbs here. And so just trying to figure out, what is this area going to look like in 15, 20 years? Like, where can I buy some affordable land, live in a community with like minded people? Um, where's going to be a place that has a good church, going to have a good pool of potential spouse candidates for my children, job, like all sorts
Yeah.
of things. Just really that's like big thing on my mind. Other than that, it's just like, yeah, living day by day here, taking care of the kids, going hunting, fishing, playing some golf, like working, and it's about time to plant a garden too. Like I don't know, just normal stuff, very very normal.
Hmm.
But just like I like think of it as like just plodding along. We're just plodding, like just trying to do small little things now, and just it's like, it seems like meaningless work, or like it's not sexy and it's not big, but it's like, this is I think my calling is, I told my wife before we got married, like my calling I think is to have a bunch of kids and disciple them well. Like that's what I want to do. So that's my goal, and that's what I'm working for. That's what drives me.
I think more people should have a similar mentality to just, that's what I'm here to do, be fruitful and multiply.
Dude, yeah, that's how you change the next generation. Like, yeah, if I have 5 kids and they have each have 5 kids, like you start doing the exponential math, and they're all Christians, and they raise up Christians, and they go out and disciple, like they go evangelize and make new people. Like it's beautiful. It's like, yeah, and I just have a very like, I'm very like a hopeful outlook on the future, and like, yeah, we're gonna everything's gonna be okay. And I'm gonna do my job. If I do my job right, you know, Lord will bless it, do what He wills. But I'm gonna try to be obedient and take care of the rest.
Well, I mean, I know limited conversation. As far as, I don't know everything that's going on in your life, but it seems like whatever you're doing, it seems like you're supposed to be there. And I'm excited to see what happens next and how many more kids you have, and and then I'll check back and maybe another couple years, and you're gonna have a couple more kids and be like, hey, how's it going? Still want more kids? And
Yeah, we'll see. Like my wife said, we're taking it one at a time. It's like, but it's the best. It's like, I don't know. I tell like I said before, all like everybody, like my little brother and like all my friends, like I don't really have any actually friends who aren't married really, but to everybody, just get married, have the kids, have more than you think you need, at least one more than you think you can. Like that's gonna stretch you, and it's gonna be great. Like just have a bunch of kids and just train them up well. Reject passivity, work hard, like just go do something. Like yeah, it is tough out there right now. Like trust me, I understand. Like it is. And that's a lot of people like to play it down. Like I'll just work hard or whatever. Like no, like there's actual like forces against people, especially like young men, young Christian white men, especially in this culture. It's like yeah, no, I know it's tough. I know like what your grandparents had and what our ancestors had that was like easily attainable is not
mm-hmm.
anymore really. And then like it's hard to raise family on a single income and find a good godly wife these days. Like all that, I understand it's all hard, but what are we gonna do about it? Like so yeah, acknowledging like yeah, it's hard, but also there's ways around it and you can make it work and God will provide. So it's like just don't take the black pill. I guess what they say these days. Like
Black
it's
pill.
kind of it's
It's funny because I think I've had that conversation with my parents. I don't know, a conversation with my grandpa, and we talked a little bit about it on the podcast, just like what they used to have. You're used to, raising kids back then. I think there's some statistic. It was like raising kids back in the 40s or 50s. Raising, I think it was like 10 kids in the 40s or 50s is the same as raising 2 to 3 kids today, or 2 kids today, like just financially. And then, houses are not the same as they used to be. Yeah, maybe, your salary and your pay maybe doesn't look the same. Maybe ours seems higher, but it doesn't go as far. Like
nope.
there's so many things. And, college, if people go to college, like that's not the same as it used to be. School, private, all the stuff, cars, it's not the same. And so when I hear, somebody who's older that says, just do this, it's like, that's great. I'd love to just do that, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
And
you want to own a home? Yeah, sorry. 50 million immigrants. Yeah, you want to start your own business? Nah, good luck. Like you want, yeah. It's just it's just a completely different world, and dollars been debased. Like there's a lot of problems. Like I said, fortunately, us over the last well, a long time, but especially the past couple of years. And it's just like yeah, just acknowledging that, and also being like, all right, we got to figure out a way through it. And I think part of that is like having good community, like-minded people, and be able to like partner together in whether it's business or just life in general. Like having that strong community, I think is very important these days. Like
yeah, it's
that's why,
huge.
yeah, I think it's very important having a good church. Just people, people around you who know what time it is and who are on the same mission as you. Like I think that's critical.
Yeah, I totally agree. We've always had a challenge at a church, or every time we've moved, we've had challenges finding a church that
Oh, it's
felt the
impossible.
same way.
Oh, dude, it's so hard. Yeah, there's like it's like even living in the Bible Belt. It's like there's you know within like a 45-minute drive from me. There's like 4 good churches, probably 3 good churches, maybe,
Crazy.
which is actually probably better than a lot of areas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
honestly, actually, now that I say that, probably shouldn't. But I'm just saying, like, I remember we going through the church before Atlanta one. That was like, man, it's just not good.
It's
It's just
hard
hard.
too, because I saw this. There's some, again, statistics. I like them, gives me perspective. And he was talking about, they were talking about a particular city in Texas, Arlington, Texas, and how, so they had a church that was so many, it was like maybe 2, 3, 400 or something like that. And they're like, there are this many people in the city. So it was maybe like, I don't know, 100,000 or something like that. And they're like, and then this is how many churches we would need to, if every church had 100 people or 200 people. And I think they said that right now, the amount of churches they have, if every church averaged a certain amount, and that's an if, it would be like we were reaching 1% of the population. And it's like, because for a long time, and I still question it, but even Bible Belt in Atlanta or North Atlanta, how many people are actually in the city where you're at? And if every person went to church, how many churches would you need? And like, how big of a church would you need? And it kind of put things into perspective a little bit. Cause I was like, it seems like there's so many churches, but there's still not enough if every church had so many people.
I
Like,
would love to have that problem. There's not enough for just the amount of people. There's not enough good churches, but yeah,
yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's just
yeah,
crazy.
but I think it is still nice living. As much as it's being, like I said, the culture, the undertones being eroded, but it's still nice having that Bible Belt and that Southern culture. It's still there's a lot of good that comes with that. As much as it's fading, like I said, but there's still pockets of it around if you know where to look.
Yeah. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. I think got a lot of good stuff. I have my itinerary up here, and we just kind of wiggled our way up and through. So yeah, there's not a whole lot of form, but sometimes the conversations end up being like this, and sometimes they're very rigid. But I think both have their place, and you know, I had a feeling just the personality and that you bring. I felt like it wasn't going to be just a rigid like question, question, question. I was like, yeah, this is just going to be we're going to flow
Yeah.
through it. It's going to be fun, just
Rabbit holes.
conversation. Yeah, some rabbit holes. I think again, I think there's value, and I think everybody that comes in here, there's a reason why I and I say there's a reason why I thought that you would be a good guest, and there's a reason why God put you on my mind to think, have Grant on here. And the whole thing is, if one person hears this and gets something out of it, then that's one person that is one step closer to either a closer relationship or just a relationship in general, or just a better life. So I appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks for the invite, man. It's good to catch up with you. Hopefully, somebody takes something here. Hopefully, I get something constructive.
There'll be something. And if nothing at all, you have a full hour recording of you talking that you can give to your kids,
Yeah,
and they'll have it forever.
that's a good
And
point.
yeah,
That's a good point.
I've thought about that a few times. Like, okay, if nobody else listens to it, maybe my kids will when I pass away.
Yeah.
And
Hey, Jace, Alec, and
yeah, exactly.
Philip.
But yeah, thank you all for watching, and hopefully you catch us next time. If you did like it and want to hear more, obviously like, share, and subscribe. Still feels weird saying it, but it is helpful just because. So again, thanks, Grant, and talk to you next time.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.